Ready to explore the unknown? In this video, we will explore history and the mystery that is the human mind to reveal mysterious artifacts and hidden secrets. Prepare to open your mind as we explore topics you thought you knew about, only to reveal another layer of mystery that has gone previously unseen. Allow me to take you on a tour of secrets from both past and present. Alien bodies in the desert. I've got to say, some of the strangest artifacts I've come across is the so-called alien mummy that was found in the Atacama Desert in northern Chile. It was found buried in a small ghost town called La Noria, and immediately grabbed the interest of those excavating. It was unnaturally small for a human body, measuring just 6 inches or 15 centimeters long. Okay, so maybe it's a small baby or something, right? Could be, if it weren't for the unusual physical features. The top of the skull juts outward in a strange conical shape, reminiscent of the infamous crystal skulls that have elongated skull shapes. It also has hardened teeth, and 10 pairs of ribs where you would normally expect to see 24 pairs, what people generally have. Its short stature, wide, gaping eye sockets, and other unusual features make many who've seen it think it must be something from out of this world. The body of an alien found buried in Mesoamerica. But the Atacama mummy wasn't the only place where small deformed remains were found. Discovered in Kishtim, Chelyabinsk, Russia was another body, lovingly named Aloshenka. This time, 9.5 inches, or roughly 25 centimeters in length, and with a bizarre ridge-like feature running across the top of its skull. There were mysterious dark spots along the scalp, and its eyes seemed abnormally large, occupying most of the face. So what's with these small human-like bodies found on opposite sides of the world? Scientific study claims genetic mutation in fetal development, while others fervently claim these prove the existence of aliens. What do you think? Dark witch in the woods. Back when I was about 7 years old, I was taking a walk through the woods with my parents. I don't remember why, but I was walking ahead and just exploring the forest surrounding us. All of a sudden, I realized that a few feet away, there was an elderly-looking woman standing close to a path that would lead deeper into the woods. She was wearing a black cloak with a hood on her head, holding a walking stick in one of her hands. I somehow felt drawn to her and was slowly approaching her. I would even go as far as to say that she was actually waving her hand at me and luring me in, so to speak. The woman was very tranquil and didn't speak too much, but she wanted to give me something out of a bag she was carrying with her. As soon as I reached out to take it, my parents caught up to me and were yelling at me to stay away. I felt like I was pulled out of a trance-like state when I heard my mother's voice. I turned to my parents, then turned back to the elderly woman, who was smiling and now slowly making her way into the forest. I looked again at my parents, and then one last time, I was trying to catch a glimpse of the woman. But to my surprise, she was gone, as if she vanished completely or ran into the woods, pedal to the metal. Of course, I was young and could be reading way too much into it, but my mom said something about dark witches. Is that what I experienced out in the woods? Puma Punku. Pardon me while I go on an archaeological rant, but why aren't the ruins of Puma Punku considered one of the ancient wonders of the world? To my mind, they're right up there with the Great Pyramids, if not even more baffling in how it was constructed. Let me back up a little. Located in Tiahuanaco, Bolivia, lay the remains of an ancient city with 4 major structures: the Acapana Pyramid, the Colossusaya platform, the subterranean temple, and the Puma Punku ruins. But what I want to focus on are the massive 800-ton stones that were used to create this megalithic ruin. They're made up of granite and diorite, some of the hardest stones out there, the only thing harder being diamond. So how were they cut? It's just impossible these stones were cut using ancient stone cutting techniques. Not only that, but how were they lifted into place using Stone Age technology? And most mind-bogglingly, the 800-ton stones were placed in an interlocking pattern, fitting together almost like puzzle pieces, and in some places, stacked 4 levels high, all without mortar. To this day, we still have no idea not only how Pumapunku was built, but also who built them. This is undoubtedly a mystery that will last for the ages. Wiccan gone wrong. My sister has a strong interest in occult, Wiccan, and witchcraft practices. She seemed genuinely interested in Wicca, but a 13-year-old probably doesn't have the best judgment. When she started practicing, our house felt, there's no better way to say it, off. We noticed objects shifting in our peripheral vision, or finding things in different positions from how we left them. Initially, we chalked it up to human forgetfulness, but it never seemed to let up. Eventually, we relocated, not only changing houses but continents, and things were particularly unsettling during the deep cleaning and moving. My mom and sister departed 6 weeks earlier than the rest of us to select the new house, while my dad, brother, and I cleaned and packed at the old house. We kept hearing things from my sister's room, thumping noises, windows and doors moving on their own, and shadows moving under the door every night despite the blinds being closed. Although I'm not usually very perceptive about that sort of thing, it was extremely obvious even to me. We did our best to pack up and ignore it, and nothing seems to have followed us to our new home. But I often wonder, just what exactly did my sister leave behind? Have you ever heard of the Philadelphia experiment? It was a supposed military experiment that occurred during World War II, involving a Navy destroyer, the USS Eldridge, and allegedly was turned invisible and then teleported from Philadelphia to Norfolk, Virginia, and back again. Allegedly, the experiment had the goal of developing advanced stealth technology for military use. Although such a story seems pretty wild, right? Teleportation is the stuff of science fiction, so this is nothing more than a hoax or conspiracy theory. Well, you would think so. Despite this, there are numerous accounts of strange occurrences on the USS Aldridge around the time of the experiment. Reports of crew members disappearing inexplicably, or others suffering from severe physical and mental side effects. However, what you can't deny is that the Philadelphia experiment remains a topic of debate and speculation to this day. Brain injury. I assist individuals who have experienced traumatic brain injuries. What's terrible to witness is knowing that these people often still remember who they were before the accident that imprisoned their minds, but it's trapped beneath a wall. There is a disconnect between thought and action. For instance, there was this young man close to my own age who tried to end things in prison. He was really young when he was incarcerated, and his own sister didn't bother to find out the reason he went to prison. She allowed him to dwell in his own mess for years until she brought him to our attention. In his lucid moments, he was quite humorous. He alternated between moments of clarity and feeling empty. During his empty episodes, he had a blank stare, remained silent, resisted moving, and avoided any form of human contact. Whenever you attempted to help him stand, he would scream in fear. I hate to think how confused and scared he must have felt. It's as though he's home but isn't responding at the door. I recall reading Dante's Inferno, where individuals who take their own lives are transformed into contorted trees and tormented by harpies tearing their leaves. I came to understand that for this individual, his reality is like hell, and I can only sit and watch. All eyes on me. It was the summer of 2019, and I was with an ex who had 3 daughters. We decided to take them to a local fair, and it was one of the last nights, so it was packed. He had taken his oldest with him to go on a ride that the 2 little ones couldn't get on. I had gotten them tickets, and we walked around going on different rides for 3 to 4-year-olds. I had one on each side of me, and they were holding my hands. We had to walk around the fair to get to the one ride they wanted to go on again, when time seemed to slow down. It was probably only a few seconds, but it felt like a whole eternity. I remember all of a sudden, everything got real slow. There was no noise at all. I couldn't hear talking, the rides, nothing but my own heart. And everyone that I passed was staring at me. It's hard to explain, but all of a sudden, every single person I passed were suddenly just staring at me with a look of horror. I remember it feeling like they were all just actors, and for that brief moment, they were scared I realized what was going on. I can't explain it properly, but I remember it felt like they knew me in some way. It wasn't just one or two people who were staring at me. It was every single person we passed stopped what they were doing and gawked at me as if I was the center of everyone's attention. I remember it felt like things were coming to a head, and then all of a sudden, sound returned. People went back to being normal, and time sped back up. I never have forgotten this, and just was thinking of it this morning, wondering if anyone else has ever experienced something like this. Make sure to give us a like, hit that share button, and subscribe for more captivating content. Until next time, remember, the world is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. See you later.